Welcome, beautiful souls. We are back at the beach on this beautiful, cloudy, rainy day to go into our weekly mini practice. I invite you to listen to the waves, the birds, check out the serene scene, the sand and the rocks and the islands. Today's conversation is about something that touches every part of our well-being. Physical, emotional, mental, and even spiritual health. We are talking about consent, transparency, and the law. Not from a place of fear, but from empowerment. Because understanding your rights, understanding boundaries, and understanding privacy is part of protecting your health. Today we'll focus especially on Washington State and look at how laws differ in Texas, California, Canada, the UK, and the United Arab Emirates. This is educational information, not legal advice, but knowledge is power. So let's begin with something simple. Consent is not just about sex. Consent is about agency. Consent is about truth. And consent is about the right to make informed choices about your body and your life. And transparency in relationships is not just romantic, it is protective. At its core, consent means freely given, informed, ongoing, and revocable. In Washington State, consent must be freely given and can be withdrawn at any time. Sexual assault laws recognize that silence or passivity is not consent. But let's go deeper. There's another layer people don't talk about enough. Informed consent. Informed consent. If you consent to intimacy believing you're physically safe, but critical information was withheld, that enters complicated legal and ethical territory. Cheating itself is not illegal in Washington, Texas, California, Canada, or the UK, but knowingly exposing someone to serious health risks without disclosure can carry legal consequences, depending on jurisdiction and circumstances. Even when criminal prosecution does not occur, civil lawsuits for negligence may be possible, and this is where health meets law. Let's talk clearly. In Washington State, there is no automatic law that forces a partner to undergo STI testing simply because of infidelity. However, knowingly exposing someone to a serious communicable disease can potentially fall under criminal or civil liability, depending on intent and harm. Washington also recognizes civil claims for non-consensual condom removal, often called stealthing, as a violation of consent. In Texas, similar to Washington, cheating alone is not criminal. But Texas has strong criminal penalties for unlawful disclosure of intimate images, which we'll discuss shortly. Intentional harm or exposure may fall under broader assault statutes. In California modernized its HIV laws. Intentional transmission can be prosecuted, but non-disclosure alone is generally treated different than in older laws. Stealthing is explicitly recognized as a civil offense. In Canada, the Supreme Court has ruled that failure to disclose status in certain circumstances can invalidate consent and lead to criminal charges if there is a realistic possibility of transmission. In the United Kingdom, knowingly transmitting an STI can lead to prosecution under grievous bodily harm statutes if recklessness or intent is proven. In the UAE, the legal system differs significantly. Sexual relations outside marriage can be criminalized. Public morality laws apply broadly, and health disclosure issues are interpreted within a very different legal framework. So what does this mean for listeners? It means this. Your physical health deserves transparency. Your consent deserves honesty, and your body deserves informed choice. Now let's shift to digital privacy, text, photos, and digital boundaries. Because consent extends beyond physical intimacy. Okay, it does include your text messages, your emails, your photos, and even your private videos. In Washington state, sharing intimate images without consent is a crime, even if the image was originally shared voluntarily within a relationship. In Texas, unlawful disclosure of intimate visual material is a felony, and in California, non-consensual distribution of intimate images is criminal, and victims may sue for damages. In Nevada, for example, revenge porn laws also carry criminal penalties and allow civil claims, while in Canada, the criminal code makes distributing intimate images without consent a federal crime. In the United Kingdom, revenge porn and disclosure of private sexual images without consent are criminal offenses under the Criminal Justice and Courts Act. In the UAE, cybercrime and public morality laws can criminalize dissemination of explicit content, but enforcement may apply differently and more broadly than within Western frameworks. Here's something important. Ordinary text messages, not sexual images, are generally not criminal simply because someone shares them. But harassment, threats, blackmail, coercion, and defamation can all create legal consequences. Digital boundaries matter. If someone shares your private images without consent, that is not drama. It is potentially a crime. And beyond legality, it is a violation of your dignity. Now let's zoom out. Why are we talking about law on a wellness podcast? It's because secrecy erodes mental health. Betrayal trauma affects the nervous system, and health risks without disclosure create anxiety and hypervigilance. Privacy violations can trigger shame and isolation, but transparency protects your physical health, your emotional safety, and your psychological regulation. It also protects your spiritual alignment. Honesty in relationships is not just moral, it's medicinal. Consent is not a legal technicality, it's a spiritual agreement. When transparency exists, the nervous system relaxes. When information is hidden, the body often knows before the mind does. Trust that wisdom. One powerful takeaway is that laws reflect culture. Washington, Texas, California, Canada, the UK largely center individual consent and privacy in a modern framework. UAE operates within religious and public morality structures that criminalize conduct Westerners and listeners may consider private. If you travel, relocate, or maintain an international relationship, understand that your rights and risks may change dramatically by jurisdiction. Ignorance of the law does not protect you. Education does. Now let's do a short grounding practice and end with something practical. If this episode stirred anything, breathe with me now. Sit comfortably and place one hand on your heart, one hand on your lower belly. Take a slow inhale for 4, hold for 2, and exhale for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, feel your body and notice, do I feel safe right now? Am I honoring my boundaries? Is there a conversation I need to have? Is there a truth I need to speak? Breathe in clarity and exhale confusion. And silently repeat, my body deserves informed consent. My mind deserves peace. And my spirit deserves honesty. I choose transparency in my relationships. And I'll take 3 more steady breaths. Feel your feet on the ground. You are empowered through awareness. Education is not about fear. It's about sovereignty. When we understand consent legally and energetically, we protect our health on every level. Thank you for spending this time with me on Restorative Escapes. And share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, transparency is protection, consent is sacred, and your well-being is worth safeguarding. Until next time, stay grounded, stay informed, and stay aligned.